2019? It is 2019, right?
It is 2019.
I lose track sometimes.
Yeah.
And here we are for the 10:30 game on track 2. I'm Biggie Talls.
I'm Mamie Eisenhower.
And we're going to tell you stuff about the roller derby that's happening in front of us on this track.
I am so excited to talk about the roller derby in front of us because look at this beautiful roller derby.
Well, now you're looking at us,
Hi.
but you can see how excited we are. I'm ready for this. We have Puget Sound Outcast Derby versus the Golden State Heat.
And this is going to be a great game. These two teams, now the Heat has been coming in really strong this year, as they have been for many years. But I've noticed that Puget Sound has been coming up and winning a few more games, getting a little more, getting a little tighter in their point differentials. So I'm excited to see what they do on the track today.
Yeah, your prediction is probably better than our prediction because I've seen how announcers do math.
Hey, look, I didn't say I was going to do math here. Notice I said no numbers.
Right. We're 10 seconds from the time to Derby listed up here on the track. I'm going to start by introducing Puget Sound Roller Derby. They'll be in blue. That's 1-1 Thunderstruck. 1-1-3 Old Derby Bastard. 1-2 Nasty Nicky Nightstick. 1-5 Kieran. 2 Vito Ramone. 2-0 The One the Only or Toto. 2-4-7 Hollywood. 5-5 Corporal Punishment. 7-0 Kilwalski. 7-6 Grandpa Rexy. 7-7 Here's Johnny. 8-5 Rogar. 9 Fluffy. 9-0 Mamba. And 9-0-7 Guilty McKilty. Looks like we're ready to start, so.
So, all right. Quickly, Golden State Heat in white, 063 Bumper Car, 1 Hoppa, 1-1 Benjamin, 1-1-7-2 Vic, 3-3 Scotty Trippin, 3-6 Davy Rocket, 5 Wyatt, 5-5 Creepy Taco, 5-8 Studley Do Right, 6 Worthy, 7-1-4 Plumber, 7-4 Beat 'em Millark, 7-4-7 Billy Motion, 9 Kamakanji, and 93 Waterboy. And what do we have, Biggie?
We have Kamakanji out first. Mamba is still stuck in the pack. You can see a wall of Golden State up there at the front of turn 2, keeping Mamba nailed down.
And we are seeing those now classic rotating 4 walls over there on turn 2, keeping both of those jammers back.
Now those keep working, so why mess with success? I'm not surprised to see them on the track here again today.
Heck no.
We have a full pass there for Kamakanji. Mamba still not out of the pack, but has passed off the start of Thunderstruck, who is now out. That's Thunderstruck number 1-1, coming around halfway from the track as Kamakanji calls off the jam.
And we see our first penalty of the day. That's number 5, Wyatt in white for the Heat. I didn't quite catch what that penalty was.
I didn't either. I was too busy watching the jammers.
Ooh.
I know, right?
I know, that's what everyone does.
I'll tell you what, I'll watch for penalties next time.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Everything is beautiful here. It's
all
the
right.
Big O. Hashtag Big O 2019.
Hashtag everything is beautiful. Hashtag Big O 2019. We have 247 Hollywood up against number 6 Worthy. And it looks like we have an official timeout here for a moment. As soon as we find a cause, we'll tell you.
It's unusual to see the officials needing to have a little conversation this early in the game. But since it is the very first game on this track, perhaps there is a technical issue that they are addressing at the moment.
We could even, call them toothing pains.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, so since the
little baby tournament
coming
forward in the world.
Little track 2 ready to come out into the world. Okay, we see. I can't even.
Don't mind us. It's just first thing in the morning.
I mean, it's not even noon yet. What are you thinking, right?
No, come
Still
on.
taste the toothpaste at this point.
Hence all those pains.
All right. Well, Crispy over there, who's our jam timer, looks like just told us it's ready to start again.
And Crispy, co-head and SO of this team with Terabyte. They are team Crispy Bites.
Of course. Jam has started. We've got 247 Hollywood's first just trying up the inside line, getting completely shut down, going towards the outside there. Both jammers come out, but one of them comes out because of penalty.
That is cutting the track.
Yep. Chuck, you got to be on the track.
Oh, don't be preposterous.
I know, right?
Tracks are for suckers. Ooh, and that major hit. takes down, and that was a forearm penalty, taking that pivot for the Outcast into the box.
That's number 5-5, corporal punishment. I'm cheating a little. I was on the team for a few years, so I know some of these
So
guys.
you know all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are they doing?
I don't know. I mean,
They doing they doing you proud?
First, what is the second jam jitters? I think things are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Putting some walls together.
And that was a sweet hip check. Unfortunately, a little too sweet.
Yeah. Rexy number 7-6 for the Outcast going to the box for a penalty on that. Did you see the penalty for
I
it?
did not. I'm actually, so I will admit a bit of ignorance to some of the new penalty signals since we have taken out the jammer point, and so there's only 4 points per circuit as you go around the track instead of the 5 for the jammer.
Yes.
There are also a couple new hand signals that are a little mysterious to me. Most of them are okay.
You're
Most of
okay
the
with
same.
it looks like everybody getting a delay of game?
Yeah.
Actually illegal contact?
Exactly.
Okay.
Illegal contact, I'm cutting you in half.
Yeah,
is
there we go.
That hand signal.
Next jam has started. Pivot for Puget number 5-5 is out of the box ahead of the Golden State Jammer, who has already made it out and is scoring.
And Thunderstruck goes into the box. And so we have one blocker standing, one blocker sitting for Puget, putting them at a pretty big disadvantage against the Heat's Heat.
Kamakanji looks to be a pretty important jammer here for Golden State. Not the first time we've seen him on the track. And
No.
we're only a few jams into this game.
Got some good speed on that jammer. Kamakanji is showing a lot of agility in getting through the pack, and then here we go, just bursting through.
Number 5-5, Creepy Taco, up at the front of the Golden State wall, directing that wall and just shrugging off hits from a couple of Puget players. Puget now matching up. We've got Vito Ramon, number 2, directing 2 of his teammates to hold down the Golden State Jammer, force inbounds, and force the call-off. Never got somebody's point, so that was a 3-point pass. Score at this point 33-0 in favor of the Golden State Heat.
I wanted to call out Vito's really excellent, not only bracing his wall and directing it to see what's going on, but then giving that final hit to make it happen to call off that jam.
Yeah, absolutely. Vito, the captain of the team, a lot of experience. He's coached Grave Danger for Rat City. Definitely been around Derby for a long time.
Heck yeah.
Just lives and breathes Derby, and it shows in how smart he is on the track.
Yeah, and I've met him once or twice. Just the nicest guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it looks like we are now in a timeout for Puget Sound.
Yeah, Puget Sound, pretty sensible move here, taking a team timeout.
Yeah.
Got to circle back up as a team, figure out what's going on. You look at that scoreboard, you see 33-0. You see some of your strategy working, some of your strategy not working. Time to turn things around a little bit and adjust how you're playing the opponent.
Yeah, because if you get a 14-point jam, give a 14-point jam to the other team this early in the game, it's time to figure out something new.
Well, and Puget has had a little bit of blocker penalty trouble there. As you said earlier, that makes it a lot harder to control the score.
Absolutely.
Everybody line back up. We've got number 7-7. Here's Johnny. Who's that for Golden State? It's number 6, Worthy.
And that's an official timeout now, because now the officials need a little bit of time on their own. So we will take a moment.
Well, I think we're going to visit derbywarehouse.com for all of our Derby gear needs with free shipping and free returns.
Say what?
Should we just go on our phones right now and order some Derby stuff?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Free shipping, free returns?
Exactly. It's like Zappos for Derby gear.
Zappos for Derby.
I'm not actually claiming that they will let you return it for a year, but they do offer free shipping and free returns.
Which, honestly, for Derby gear,
it's super impressive.
that is not only impressive, at this point, it's mandatory.
Well, especially if you're in an area that does not have a skate shop. A lot of places have lost skate shops.
90% of areas, I would say.
Especially with Derby being everywhere.
And we're back. Worthy against Here's Johnny. Worthy is out of the pack for the Heat.
Here's Johnny, a homegrown Puget skater. Started, about 6 years ago, coming to practice, bought a set of skates and said, I'm going to learn how to skate Derby. It's come up a lot in the last couple of years. Got some really impressive skating skills, really impressive playing skills, and it's good to see him out here on the track.
Heck yeah. And Worthy getting knocked out to the outside. Punched a little to the inside, but not badly.
Saw the star off for Here's Johnny, but looks like he's still jamming.
Yeah, it's right now still a stash, not yet a pass, if indeed a pass is chosen.
Getting pushed to the infield there, definitely showing a little bit of wind, dodging the opposing jamming ref, and then diving back into it.
And a high block is taking out Worthy, thereby giving a power jam to Here's Johnny. And not even to Here's Johnny. That was indeed a star pass. So now we've got Kieran.
Yep, a star pass over to Kieran, who comes out backwards and comes back around. Now this is going to be a full 2-minute jam. It's got 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Looks like Outcasts are putting some points up. Maybe that timeout did some good.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I like to see the strategy of using the star pass. It is available to you, and especially we did see Here's Johnny being a little bit worn out, so you're not going to get lead. Lead is already taken. Pass it on. Give it to a fresh skater who can hopefully score some points for you.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you're a minute into the jam. Jamming is hard work.
Turns
a minute
out.
of pushing people around. Turns out it takes something out of you. So using the star pass there, that's a really effective time to use the star pass.
Absolutely. Now, unfortunately, Kieran did get recycled enough that no points were put on the board for Puget.
I saw 3 points up in the air.
I was looking at the board before I was looking at
the people.
I know.
Yeah, it's tricky.
See, that's my folly.
Believing written things.
I know.
Next thing you'll be saying the news is real and all this paperwork they put in front of us.
Please, people, don't believe what you read.
Did you know that they used to believe that the news was real and the sitcoms were made up?
I know. And then the world changed. It's upside down.
There you go.
But not in Derby land. Derby is always right side up.
We have Mamba out here skating for Puget, picking up, looks like a penalty. I'm seeing a back block there.
Yep,
so this is going to be a power jam for Golden State. That was the initial pass, so I'm thinking that lead jammer is still available.
And unfortunately, that does come at a bad time for Puget.
Okay.
No.
I thought that was a forearm penalty on the Golden State jammer. It was actually a forearm penalty on Kilwalski. So Puget down a blocker and a jammer. Really hard to score points when you're down a jammer.
But really good shout out there. Once again, that was Vita Ramon, number 2, knocking out the jammer. And that is a cutting the track penalty. Forcing a track cut, or at least inattention making that track cut. Hard to tell. Creating
the opportunity for the opposing jammer to put themselves in a situation where they do a track cut. Very smart, Derby.
Wow, are you in politics?
No. I work with attorneys.
Oh, no wonder. There we go.
600 attorneys.
Wow, that sounds like a Dr. Seuss book that never quite got off the ground.
I don't want to read that one, frankly. But we always say things, and one of the things we say is, words mean things.
And they do.
Mamba out here again, getting held down by 2 blockers in the front. Mamba, a positively powerful skater, just pushing proudly towards the front of that pack and getting impressively recycled by those Heat players.
And awfully close. I was really hoping for Mamba to be able to push through because he was forcing an extension of the wall. So he was only up against another couple players, and unfortunately he did get knocked to the inside, recycled all the way back.
It was smart, forceful derby by a jammer, staying away from the line, and he just outblocked.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So there were some pocket points there for the Golden State jammer. So 2 put up there. 2 more put up there for the Golden State. I'm seeing 2 held from the jammer. If they are just picked up by scorekeeping, should see them on the scoreboard in a second. There we are, 6-point jam total for that. That brings us to 50-3 in favor of the Golden State Heat.
And I gotta say, Golden State has been working so hard lately. They have been winning nearly every game that they've done on the MRDA. If not all of them. I have to double check my stats on that. But they have been incredible this year.
I mean, it's a real reminder that when you look at the MRDA, you have some impressive skating just all over. And ultimately, there are teams that take that and then cast it in the forge of impressive teamwork to turn it into the sword of victory.
I have nothing to add.
I'm not sure I do either. I think I metaphorically painted myself into a corner there.
Well, using this sword of victory, we have Worthy, who is worthy of such a sword, coming up, reapproaching the back of the pack, getting knocked all the way down to the outside, giving a look of, hey, was that actually legal? And the answer was, yes, it was just hard.
Both teams losing one blocker, so it's 3-3 blockers out there on the track. Really impressive hit there from Hollywood, number 247. The Golden State Jammer heads all the way up the infield line and comes back in and back out before realizing I don't get to do that.
No.
That was forced out of bounds.
That was that and at that point, I'm not gonna even. I'm not gonna even.
Yeah, no, don't even.
No.
Really, don't even.
Don't even. So now we have Roger, number 80. Rogar. I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm not as sure I'm right, but I think that was what I was told.
I know it's a hard G. So number 85 in blue for Puget. If we have mispronounced your name, sincere apology.
And blow us up on Twitter.
Please do.
But I don't remember my Twitter handle. Did you say Kamakanji for Golden State?
Yes, Kamakanji for Golden State.
Both teams getting their remaining blockers out.
Both of them number 11.
Yeah, that was very convenient there.
Yeah.
It was all 11sies.
All 11sies coming up. And once again, the heat, Kamakanji, is coming up into the lead.
Oh. Total tangent. Do you know the history of 11sies?
I don't know the history of 11sies.
So 11sies came around in the 1870s as a whiskey break mid-morning.
Why do we not do this anymore?
I know, right?
Oh my God, that's way better than smoke break.
It became the coffee break during the temperance movement.
Yeah,
right?
Temperance ruined everything.
So here we've got 4 points up on the board for Golden State. Additionally, that's 8 points in this jam. Golden State really consistently putting up more than one pass of points in jams. And we're 7 jams into this with 62 points. That's just shy of a 9-point per jam average.
Wow. And I just want to point out that Kieran once again took the star. It is amusing to me to see some of the signaling of star passes. Some people do a nice little tap near their head saying, hey, psst, buddy, there was a star pass. And some people go full Michigan J. Frog. Hello, my baby.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
There was a star pass fine.
It was not outside.
Hashtag Big O 2019.
Hashtag Big O 2019. Hashtag Michigan J Frog.
Hashtag, I don't know, talent show.
Oh, please no. All right. We've got Mamba number 90 jamming for Puget Sound. Jam ended there. That was a regular call-off. Okay. Sounded a little urgent. Wasn't quite sure what was happening there.
The thing is with that, neither were a few people. We had one outside official calling off the jam, doing the hip tap, saying, yep, that's what happened, and a few others going, but I didn't what? And so there was a little confusion of signaling.
Yep.
Which means that we didn't know.
That's okay. They'll win the next jam.
Yeah. The officials win every jam.
Or lose every jam.
Oh, no.
No, really, as an official. I was an official for years, and one of the things that you always learn is shake it off.
Yeah.
Catch the next jam. You got this. Every mistake, your mistakes don't break the world.
No.
And thankfully, they don't happen very often. Officials do a lot of things very well, very often. And it's a huge part of the game. We couldn't make it happen without it.
And honestly, the level of officiating that we see at the Big O just blows my mind sometimes. These people are so good.
So interesting little officiating moment there. We had the Golden State Jammer get out, but with a no pass. They had not passed one of their opponents. And so it was actually the Puget Jammer, Hollywood, who got out and got lead. It took a moment of communication there between the two jam reps to figure that out, but they got it, and he called it off.
Which, if you're behind, do.
Yeah. If you've
got that power.
You're out and behind, do the thing.
That's my motto for this year.
You're out and behind, do the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not hashtagging that.
It's a little long of a hashtag.
Yeah. Hashtag, this is a really long hashtag. No, it isn't. All right, we got Worthy jamming for the Golden State Heat, Mamba jamming for Puget Sound. Teams have been back and forth into and out of the straightaway in turn 1 here.
Oh, and Mamba leapt.
I hope you saw that
apex.
jump.
That was so good.
That was really good.
That's what I love to see. I mean, I've seen Mamba skate a number of times before, and I just love seeing him be able to fly like that. Like, just take that moment.
And put points on the board. You can actually see how that's lifting the Puget bench, putting 4 more points on the board, more than doubling the Puget Sound score.
And there was a lot of joy from the bench in that moment.
Every turn starts somewhere. You know, you gotta change direction sometime, and I see Puget saying, "Hey, we can do this."
I'm gonna write a folk song based on your derby call, Biggie Talls.
It's gonna have a sword in it, isn't it?
It is, and it's gonna be every turn. It's gonna be called Every Turn.
Okay, it's the derby song, Every Turn, all 4. That's the subtitle in parentheses.
Yeah. Oh, and that was a sternum check. And I get the sense right now that Kieran is a little, I don't know, not strength-winded, but I got hit a lot winded.
Yeah, both of these teams putting some really substantial individual hits going along with the teamwork. I mean, we've talked about the teamwork of them putting together the classic three grouping or 4 grouping walls.
Yeah.
But you'll also see them peeling off an individual blocker and just positively nailing the opponent.
Yeah,
pushing
absolutely.
them out, pushing them to the ground. And it's hard. If you're a blocker or you're a jammer and you get a good solid hit to the guts, you got to push through it, but it's not an easy thing.
And sometimes you literally have to take a moment either on the ground or just kind of standing and not necessarily moving forward because you can't breathe. And you can't move if you can't breathe.
I hope you saw that.
That was madness.
Right. They set up, Golden State set up, took Puget's attention to the outside, and Worthy just ran up the inside line.
And tried to do it twice. Didn't quite make it through. Did the cut into the inner line of the track. Thankfully, with the current rule set, allowed to reset.
Very smart play there by Worthy.
Yeah.
I got forced out of bounds there coming into turn 2. Saw that the opponent went out of bounds and just continued. And especially that was an opponent they'd already gotten the points.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Yeah. And, just really, Worthy is showing, honestly, all of Golden State is showing really tremendous track awareness of each player seems to really know where every single person is on the track, including the increments of where they themselves are, because that tiny little 1/4 inch will get you a track cut penalty if you're not paying attention.
You have to know where you are. It is fundamentally one of those key derby skills. And you actually see both teams demonstrating a lot of the key derby skills.
Yeah.
Both teams are staying strong. Both teams are spreading out well along the track, coming together well on the track. Golden State just appears to be doing a little bit better of a job with the teamwork, putting together the parts of the teamwork that break apart your opponent's defenses and give you the opportunity to score points.
Absolutely. Well, and as we've got now a timeout one more time for Puget Sound.
Let's talk about a thing.
Let's talk about a thing. I want to say that if you like Derby,
yes,
and I like Derby,
yes,
tickets for the International WFTDA Playoffs and Championships will go on sale June 17, 2019. That's a day after my birthday. June 17, 2019. Mark your calendars now. Go right now. Get your phone again. I know you have your phone after you were visiting derbywarehouse.com.
Right.
Get out your phone. Get tickets at WFTDA.com/tickets.
WFTDA.com/tickets.
/tickets.
I can remember that.
That's
I'm an
right.
announcer and I can remember that.
I know. And that means anyone can remember
Exactly. We don't have to remember things. They're written down in front of us. It's a dirty secret.
That's why we have computers in our hands. That's why we have printouts. Soon we'll have implants in our brains.
Boop, boop. Soon?
Oh, no.
I mean, soon, fellow human.
I knew I'd lose you to the Borg one day. I just didn't know that day would be so soon.
Outcast having a little bit of penalty trouble again. They, for a brief moment there, had 2 blockers in the box. One of them was 5-5 corporal punishment. And then I believe that was Rexy going there. Yeah, that's Rexy going there afterwards. Makes it hard to do defense.
Yeah. But again, I also see when teams are behind, there is such a need to push forward that sometimes you can get reckless. And sometimes you just get so into the push forward that you're not paying attention to what you're doing and where you are. And Mamba takes a really aggressive stance to the outside.
It was actually both jammers going down the outside.
Yeah.
Mamba just getting forced out by a really effective wall of Golden State here at the back. Golden State not doing a ton of offense in this, doing all defense. And Puget's trying to split their efforts there between defense and offense. You can see that's posing a little bit of challenge against that really coordinated Golden State wall. Two very different approaches to Derby, and ultimately both teams got out. There was a little hint at maybe a star pass there, but it turned out to just be a stash. We ended up with Mamba out, but shut down. No points.
Yeah. And that was the first time, I believe, that we saw Benjamin living up to his name of Jammin'.
Seen Ben blocking, Benjamin, but not Benjamin.
But now we saw Benjamin, and really great juking and really expressive juking up in his upper body, of doing a lot of avoiding, not necessarily scooting his feet out of the way, but just kind of like using his upper body to say, well, you're not hitting me, so I can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like we have Kieran up there jamming for Puget. Thought it was Old Derby Bastard there pivoting, but it actually was swapped out to Corporal Punishment at the last moment, who then earned a penalty. See, I was being relevant.
And that was the fastest we've seen Puget get out, so that was an impressive amount of teamwork. Kieran got hit to the ground, has not called off the jam despite having the Heat come forward and picking up 4 points.
Kieran having some success there jamming. I understand the rationale here. I mean, you get out, you got lead. You've done it quicker than you have at any point. Even if you ultimately end up tied in the jam or losing the jam, sometimes it's just really good to do the different thing, to put the points on the board.
Absolutely.
And to give your team the opportunity to shift strategies in a way that they haven't been getting the opportunity to shift when they've been just focusing on that initial pass the whole time.
And honestly, it was 4-3, so he did lose 1 point on that, but it's 1 point.
Still put points on the board.
Yeah.
You got to move the score or you're never going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like Rogar out there against Beatum Malark. Beatum Malark getting lead out there in the front. Oh, that was 1-1. What is that? Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck staying on the Heat Jammer and staying on the Heat Jammer and staying on the Heat Jammer until way out of play.
Yeah.
Gets the penalty for it. Totally understandable.
We're pretty far away from that side of the track in the announcer stand here, but it was quite clear from any distance that, that was a little too far.
And that's just an example of focus there. I mean, Thunder was clearly so focused on holding down the Jammer and really being successful at it, and that's how he earned the penalty.
Yeah. And just a little stumbling there, just getting past the last blocker.
Now, Thunder had Beatum Malark's number on blocking here. Let's see if we get a chance to. No chance there. Called off as he's held to the inside line by a Heat blocker. Ultimately ends up being 1 more point there. That's a 9-0 jam for Golden State Heat. It's now 104. They have broken the century mark to 10 for Puget Sound Outcasts.
And before we end this half, we still got 7.5 minutes. I want to remind you about Stakes contact wear. Put some stakes between you and your opponent. Visit stakeswear.com. That's STEAKS wear.com.
Stakes homonyms.
Homonyms are the enemy.
Yes, STEAKS.
Stakeswear. It's like delicious beef, not like scary vampires.
I don't want to wear delicious beef.
Well, it's like that. It's not actually that.
Okay, good. Okay, it's stakeswear. Got it. Stakes between you and your opponent. Because
the stakes are high, but that's a different kind of steak. unless you put a lot of CBD on your cows, then the stakes are also high.
We are in Oregon.
Yeah, you can put so much CBD on everything, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just take a moment and realize how beautiful everything is in Oregon.
Have you heard colors?
You know, I thought I heard blue, but it was just my mom yelling at me.
Oh. I see blue, though. I see blue and white in front of me.
And it's wonderful derby colors.
Oh, yay. It's Worthy versus Hollywood jamming out there. Hollywood taking the star off as Worthy gets lead. Very quick pass up the outside. And it is to Kieran. So we have seen Kieran taking a lot of star passes, very successful. It shuts down the jam when they do that, basically, because Kieran takes the pass, gets out, and it sets a timer for the heat. That's it. You've got 5 seconds. What can you do in that 5 seconds before
Absolutely.
Kieran's around and you got to worry that you're giving up points?
Yeah, and I think that's a smart strategy for them because clearly Kieran is a fast jammer. He's a fast and nimble jammer. Hollywood is more of a powerhouse jammer. He's going to try to kind of blow through the line rather than nimbly dance around it. And so if he can just kind of power through enough to pass the star, then the faster jammer will go through and shut down the jam.
I want to point out that beautiful, intelligent derby there that Mamba just did. Forced inbounds, 1 foot over the line, put that 1 foot back, forced out of bounds rather, put that 1 foot back in line, inbounds just before the blocker made it behind.
Wow.
Used one hand to balance to save it, made it up around, earned a different penalty, unfortunately.
It was a cutting the track penalty later.
It was on the outside, but that first one was so pretty.
Yeah. And
very smart derby.
Well, and that's where you see people who have non-derby skating experience as well.
Yes.
Because derby skating is its own particular beast.
Yeah.
And is super useful to practice a whole lot of it.
Especially if you're going to be skating in derby.
Yeah, it turns out.
Yeah.
But if you come from a background or have external interests like bowl skating, street skating, skate dancing, anything at all, that just gives you more in your toolbox, and I really see that in Mamba skating.
Well, and you can see that across Puget. I mean, we have number 5'5", Corporal Punishment out there, lots of hockey background.
Yep.
You can see it in how he skates, very familiar hockey moves. Also the power that comes with that. Also some of the patience that comes with that. Also some of the liveliness that comes with that. You know, all of those hockey elements show up. And that brings something to the team. It adds something to the team.
Yeah. Oh, and look at that move by Mamba.
Yep.
Coming through the inside one more time. And forcing that call off.
Looks like 3 more points on top there. That brings Golden State to 115 with 7 points for that jam. We're 18 jams in. Puget has actually they have changed something because when we were 7 jams in, Golden State was averaging about 9 points a jam. At this point, it's closer to about 6 points a jam.
Nice.
So Puget has definitely changed the velocity of the game.
Nice.
Curious to see if they can keep that up because that can really change games.
And we had that pivot go all the way down to the ground.
Yeah, that was Kieran, number 15 on Puget. Thankfully getting back up. Always hate to see somebody get hurt.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I've really seen here is a great balance of danger versus, safety.
Yes.
You have to push forward. It's derby. You're going to hit each other. You're going to get minor injuries. You're going to get some bruises. But I've really seen a lot of players ducking down, making sure that they're safe to get back up before they re-enter and re-engage. And I appreciate that because while I love our EMTs and I love that they're here,
I want them to be bored.
Yeah, I want them to be super bored.
Yeah.
Please, EMTs.
So something off camera you all couldn't see at home there. Vito back the bench, the team captain for Puget, it was right in front of us, so of course we get to see.
Yeah.
Doing this tiny little fluttery bird call-off hand signal. Puget jammer immediately spotting it, taking it, doing it. Really good communication there, really good attention to the bench. That's fundamental to building strategy. If you're not listening to your coach and if you're not listening to captains, you can't build strategy.
Yeah, and if your coach has to scream at you across the track for you to understand what's going on,
wave a big flag,
then honestly, you're not paying attention to the whole part of the game anyway.
And this jam is not going to get called off. Worthy receiving a penalty and heading to the box. So this one is going to go for the full 2 minutes. There's a minute 27 remaining.
Worthy with a very thoughtful look on his face going into the penalty box.
Hollywood jamming with a stash star. You can see him there on the right edge of your screen. Hollywood is still the jammer for the moment.
And not anymore. One more time, Kieran takes that star. And we've seen that so many times of Hollywood to Kieran specifically.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's just fundamentally a pairing that gives you two different skills.
And now one more time, Worthy is re-engaging with the back of the pack, able to break through the side, but all the way on the inside, so is recycled, knocked to the outside. But as 4 points are gathered by a stumbling Kieran.
So busy talking to his bench, and then, oh, wait, I've still got Derby to play here. Thankfully, no penalty for going out of bounds over there. They don't penalize you for making the track longer.
But Worthy gives a double power jam to Kieran.
Ooh, this is a real opportunity for Puget.
Because they will start the next jam with the power, even as the Golden State Benjamin, the pivot for the Heat.
And this is now a micro pack for Golden State because they also have two blockers in the pack. And it's going to be just a couple of seconds of starting power jam there. Worthy standing. Looks like released as the jam ends. So it may not start with power jam. We'll know in a second here. And definitely
again,
not.
And again, we saw that awareness. Kieran was knocked to the outside as the Puget's jammer. And then just kind of looked at the clock and said, I'm just going to rest here for the 1 second that it will take rather than recycling myself again as you would ordinarily do.
Live to jam another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely a thing. So we're seeing a team timeout. It was first team timeout from Golden State. So,
and I'm sure that has to do with this is the first jam in which Puget has won the jam.
Yeah.
They got 7-3. They got a 4-point gain on that. And if Golden State is looking at rankings, then they will want to get as many, a larger point differential so that they go up in the rankings rather than, they're not going to go down, obviously, but they also don't want to stay neutral.
Yeah.
So get the biggest point differential possible.
And this last jam just continuing to change the velocity in Puget Sound's favor.
Yeah.
You now have 118 points in 20 jams. That's just shy of 6 points a jam. Mm-hmm. So it would be 120 for 20 if it was 6 points a jam. So just shy of 6 points a jam. That's a 35% drop from where they were at just 10 jams ago.
And yet it's even more than that because it was 9 points a jam.
Yeah.
If it's now total 6 points a jam, that means it's less than 6.
Oh, they've been going lower than that for a while.
Yeah, that means less than that. So it means that really Puget, they're stopping the blitz. They're really slowing the roll of their opponent.
Well, and because of rankings, you get to remember, like, every team has more than one way to come out well from a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can win the game. You can also hold the other team back.
Yeah.
You can also just do a really good job with your teamwork and develop skills you're going to use to win a game later. And you can get lead jam.
Just like this.
As Mama did.
And really taking advantage. I feel like that was great strategy in terms of lineup, and I don't know if that was accident or on purpose.
And you had a better view than we did of that beautiful spin down the outside line. Put 4 points up on the board. This is a 4-4 jam so far. I can totally understand Puget running this jam.
Yeah, and with that, with two opposing blockers in the box, one opposing jammer in the box, put a really strong and nimble jammer in place.
Yeah.
Such as Mamba. And
oh, that was a beautiful hit there. That was nasty Nikki Nightstick. She just sent the Golden State jammer out there on the turn 3, used momentum, used force, smartly placed, smartly timed, everything you want in a block.
And Mamba one more time getting forced to the outside. And look at that really, really impressive 2-wall from the Heat, holding Mamba back. Only 2 of their one blocker, one pivot.
Yeah.
And just forcing Mamba back and back every time.
Oh, and rock points there.
I love the devil horn 2 signal.
Puget has scored the horns.
So honestly, great job there. Golden State getting 16, Puget Sound getting 10 for that jam, 134-28 as we go into intermission halftime.
We'll go ahead and throw some things up here on the screen.
Hey, what have we got?
We don't have penalties for this track. Never mind. But we do have written rosters. Hey, there's the team roster, so you can see all of these folks we're talking about.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Puget Sound is able to bring to the second half, because I feel like just looking at the players, they've been working really hard, but they are not done yet. They are not.
No.
Sometimes when you see a point differential like this, you'll see a team that is just spiritually defeated before they even go into the second half. In this case, they seem really ready to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. You still see them playing the game, not just being on the track.
And I want to see them knock that point differential down to 5 or 4.
Yeah. Let's see that velocity keep decreasing.
Yeah.
Let's see these teams really figure each other out.
Yeah. So we will see that in about 8.5 minutes, you guys.
Exactly. We're going to see what happens. See you all soon. We're back too. 17 seconds on the scoreboard. Before we start this thing, here, I'll turn us down just a little there.
Yeah, there we go.
Now we're not blasting each other. We have headphone volume here too.
Cool.
Okay, I was going to do points per jam. That's what I was going to do. I was going to show that for a second.
Yeah,
so
look at those points per jam.
Because there's points per jam for those of you who are stats nerds.
And honestly, just as you were saying, look at those points per jam just diminish every jam.
And then they come up for a little bit, and then they diminish.
Like they do.
All right, so we had our two jammers line up at the Rydell Jammer line, ready for the second half of this game, and we are into the first jam. We got Worthy jamming against Mamba. Mamba is out, but the star was off, so there is no lead.
Wait, no, Worthy was in the lead.
Worthy was in the lead?
Yeah,
thank
Worthy
you.
got out first.
Thanks for correcting me.
No problem.
We got this.
Otherwise, you would be correct.
You did see the star off.
Yeah, you cannot get the lead if you take the helmet cover off of your own helmet.
I can't hear the whistles through these headphones every time.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, that was a 1-point jam for the Golden State Heat. That's 135 to 128. In case you're like at work and you have this window hidden in the background.
And you're just listening going, okay, it's like radio baseball from the 1940s. Give me my derby.
All right. You know, before they had the transcontinental radio links, they would actually do the baseball with a sound effects person.
Yes!
From the ticker tape scores.
Yeah, with a little thought.
Yeah, they'd hit the little stick and clack. So we don't have sound effects for jamming, though. I mean, we could be like, tweet, tweet.
And maybe some skate noises or something. We'll have to work that out in our new
borrow
endeavor
skates, run them over
of Derby Foley.
But only if we're trying to call a game from across the country from where the game is happening. All right, back to the game. Boy, we wander, don't we?
Yeah, well, got to do something.
It's currently an 8-0 jam in favor of the Golden State Heat with them as lead. Puget having 2 blockers to the box. That's Rexy and Thunderstruck with a hug.
Oh, that was very sweet, honestly.
Wasn't it, though?
Yeah. It's like saying, hey, pal, we'll get him next time.
We got this. We'll get the next jam.
Yeah. And I was going to say, in the first jam of this half, Puget showed real fire in shutting the jam down with 1 point on the opposition, so that is exactly what we wanted to see.
Yes.
Not what the Heat wanted to see. So they came back and just now did an additional, if the board is correct, 12-point jam.
I believe the board is correct.
All right. I did see the jam ref's hand in the air still, so I wasn't sure if that had been communicated to the board yet. But it had. There it was. There it is. So it shall be.
See, we don't have to do math. We have these non-skating officials who sit in front of us who do the math, and then we look at
my
the
goodness!
math.
No, they're honestly they're great.
But I did the math anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
Okay. And nobody is going to stop Benjamin either. Out for lead just a few seconds into the jam.
And with no opposition, unfortunately, with Puget Sound having a light pack, Benjamin looked almost confused at the lack of opposition going through.
Well, there was a very confusing moment there where 2 of the Puget blockers and 1 of the Heat blockers came out of the penalty box. So suddenly there were 3 skaters coming around behind the pack, and it was like, where is the pack actually? No, it's still here. But why is half the game on the other side of the track?
Yeah, they haven't found the pack yet.
So we have Who's that? We've got Worthy and Mamba lining up at the Rydell Jammer line, preparing to start jam number 4 of this second period of this game.
This has been a combination we've seen a number of times. And one more time, Mamba gets into the lead, pushes past that last blocker, and is looking back to see where Worthy is. And a bit of a speeded up pack as Worthy gets shoved to the outside.
So many of these jams where Puget gets lead so far, there haven't been a ton of them, but the ones that there have, they've often ended up with the Heat switching to offense and getting their jammer out quickly. That did not happen in this jam, and Puget had a little bit of time to work with. Unfortunately, Mamba just got a penalty, so now the Heat have a little bit of time to work with.
Yeah, and joining Nasty Nicky Nightstick in that penalty box. And oh no, another penalty, number 77. Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. Usually plays pretty clean, so not excited to see him in the penalty box, but you earn your penalties sometimes.
We all make mistakes, and even when you're a clean player, that doesn't mean that you won't get forced into a penalty, and it doesn't mean that you won't just oops, I did the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, a lot of communication going on there between. Who's that? Number 9 on the Outcast. That's Fluffy, and number 1-8. 1-8? Oh,
we
okay.
don't have a 1-8
we don't have
1-1-3. 1-1-3, old derby bastard.
Old derby bastard.
Yeah.
Really good communication there. Force the opposing jammer out of bounds. Jammer thought that they had only been forced out by 1, but they'd been forced out by both, so cut.
Yeah.
It took a little bit of momentary communication there. Jammer ref making sure they're getting everything right, talking with the inside pack ref,
and
ultimately doing the right call.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's impressive how quickly these officials can communicate with each other to query and confirm what they're attempting to call on the various players, because this is such a fast game.
This jam being won by Puget. This is 8-7. Puget Sound Outcasts over Golden State.
And that was based initially on Mamba's lead jam.
Yeah, was that jam 2 minutes? That
yes,
jam was
that
2
was
minutes.
complete. It was complete because Mamba got
I just mean so much stuff happened. We had penalties, we had lead, we had other jammer penalty.
I think that jam started in 2018, Big O.
I think so.
Yeah, not hashtag Big O 2019. And here we come up on the Rydell jam line. We have number 247, Hollywood, following Waterboy, the first time we've seen Waterboy jam for Golden State.
Now, obviously, both of these teams have games further this weekend. At a certain point, you have to make the call. Like, how much do you stick with your standard jammer rotation? How much do you mix people in just to conserve energy?
Yeah.
I mean, in a really tight game, you might not want to change a thing. In a game where you've got a little bit of room, you might say, we can go a little deeper in our rotation. We can conserve the energy for the next game. You have to think strategically, not just to win the game, but to win the weekend, as it were. Whatever win the weekend looks like for you.
And it's a long weekend. This is their first game of a 3-day weekend of Derby. And frankly, at a certain point, if you are building up jammers, this is an excellent time to say, all right, go in there, see what you can do. Go against this team.
Lead there awarded to Benjamin.
And a bit of a stumble up at the front. And there has not been a star pass. There is a star stash right now. Got the helmet cover in his fist.
Both teams at full strength. Penalty box completely empty. Not hearing a ton of whistles this jam.
And Rogar tried to pass off to Kieran, did not succeed, and then got further in front of the pack and so decided to keep it for himself.
I mean, it's a fluid thing. You decide to keep it, you decide to hand it off, you decide to keep it. If there's one thing that Derby does, it forces you to adapt your strategy on a literally second-by-second basis.
Yeah, and in that case, it was a clear desire, and that was a high block taking Rogar off to the penalty box. So this is a power jam for Benjamin, who is in the lead.
Yeah, 52 seconds remaining when Rogar hit the seat, so we will see Rogar come back out of the box. But a lot of opportunity here for the Heat to put a pass or two on the board.
Yeah. And little bit of a breaking up of the wall up front, but it didn't matter. That was the end of the jam anyway. Called that one off. And hey, you know, we've mentioned our officials a few times. I want to give a shout out to all of our skating officials.
Oh, please do.
In this game are Bambi Lance, Whack Job, Ren Stick, Jens Hitker, Il Presidente, Dylan, and Colin M. Fairley. And special thanks to Colin M. Fairley for coming in at the last minute. And you know what? Big shout out to Mike Hammer.
Yes.
At home. Mike, I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, please.
We wanted you to be here. We hope you're here later in the weekend.
You are missed.
Deeply. And also, your buddy Dan Unda. We miss him too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, both those guys, I never see them at the same time. I'm always happy that I see them.
I'm always happy to see them. One day we'll get them at a party together. I'm just sure of it.
I don't know. One of them might disappear before the other one shows up.
They just don't seem to like each other that much.
I think it's there's some sort of old Australian feud there. All right. Well, this is yet another example of what we were talking about in the first half. Puget not getting out immediately, not getting out lead, but getting out in a way that forces the Heat to stop putting points on the board.
Exactly.
So that ultimately ended up being a 4-0 jam in favor of the Heat. Puts us to 184-36 in favor of the Heat.
And since I mentioned our skating officials, how about them non-skating officials?
Oh, hey, I got a list of them here, don't I?
Oh, right on.
I got a list here, too, don't I? Said we're announcers. We don't have to remember things.
You've got a little list.
Well, we've got Extra Crispy, Jack Attack, Rockin' Buddha, Bola Constrictor, Neutron Scar, Time Lord, India Pale Al, Terabyte, and Eagle Eye Mary. And I think you said this is Team Terra Crispy, or?
No, it's Team Crispy Bites.
Crispy Bites. Crispy Bites. Is that ones where all of the bits are set to 1? I don't know.
They've got the most amazing team tags where it's like potato chips in space with their 2 heads on. I mean, if you get a chance,
potato chips should have 0 heads. I'm not sure. Tell you what, if one of you at this tournament finds one of those tags, take a picture of it, hashtag it, hashtag Big O 2019, and then everybody will get to see how awesome they are.
Because they're legit.
Yeah.
They're so good. And I mean, it's only fair because Extra Crispy and Terabyte are so legit. They're such good people. And I am actually in awe of their NSO skills.
And I believe we are in a team time. Oh no, this
review.
Is a big. There's a big O on the track.
Just like there's a big O everywhere here.
For official review.
Yeah, and that is Extra Crispy himself showing there is an official review being asked for by Puget Sound. And why not? They've got one.
Yeah, you use it or you can't save it.
No.
I mean, imagine that. If you could save them, you'd have teams that never use them, and they'd show up and they'd be like, we have 8 official reviews.
And we're using them now.
Do not mess with us. I don't know why I got British. Oh, it's because villains are British.
Villains are British. Or
and
German.
Worst British accent ever.
Well, and that's why you're a villain, is because actual British people are actually quite nice.
I just learned my British accents from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Well, that's your problem right there.
That's many problems, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we could talk about Derby.
We could. Let's talk about Derby.
We've got this thing here. It says, hit this. Hit this.
Ow.
Hit this. Oh, I need to get the right read on this. Hit this. Okay, there. There we go. Hit this. Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear, and unmatched service for all of your Derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this.
And I would just additionally like to give a giant, heartfelt thank you to Rydell. Rydell is a proud sponsor of the Big O 2019. They support us in all kinds of ways. They're, in fact, sponsoring our jam line today.
So we don't know what this official review is about. We have a microphone for the ref, but we heard them trying to use it, and it was just feeding back, so we don't know the exact story there is. We'll see if we can get a story for you. Hopefully we can. We can tell you what happened.
Next time we'll get a megaphone.
But if not, we're keeping an eye on the box. It's empty right now. If we see somebody in the box, we know.
And I wish the camera was off to the side at the Puget bench because Kieran was doing some sweet, sweet breakdancing.
There you go. Skate break.
It's the electric boogaloo of the Big O 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time it's personal.
I can't even top that. I got nothing. It's maybe if he was dancing with a broom.
Ooh, delightful. You know, I totally non-derby specific.
Sure.
But I did
Wait,
a Halloween,
why stop now?
Yeah, I know, right? Why talk about derby now? I did a Halloween costume as a. Oh,
I heard something. Sorry, we're trying to keep an ear out.
No, of course.
Anyway.
We actually do want to inform you of that. I was a Fantasia broom once, and I was carrying buckets, and no one got it.
I see Bambi Lance heading over here.
So Puget Sound was requesting a back.
Tell me about it, Mamie. What happened?
So what happened was that Puget was asking for a back block penalty against the Heat number 6, that is Worthy. And it looks like they received it.
They got it.
So that, I got to say,
They get to keep their review?
I'm stunned when that happens because...
See, they have the little plus sign. They're all set.
It is rare to call for an official review and have the official say, you know what, you're right.
And it takes a good official to be willing to stand there, look at all of the facts ahead of them, and say, we could have done that better, let's fix that right now.
Heck yeah. And I deeply appreciate that, and I'm sure that Mamba also appreciates that.
Absolutely, because he gets to start out at the Rydell Jammer line and go straight into the pack.
And
get
straight
lead.
out of the pack.
Yeah, 4 points on the board already, not even 30 seconds into this jam. So doing a lot with that penalty.
And Worthy is re-entering the track now as Mamba is fighting against the last 2 blockers of the Heat. Gets pushed to the outside by Benjamin.
Really nice blocking there by Benjamin, just keeping the weight low, using the edges to force Mamba out of bounds, and then just track back.
And Mamba coming to the inside, over the apex, rolling through,
and
cutting the track.
Yeah, I kind of suspected that was happening. We didn't have a great angle on that one, but it just had that whiff.
Yeah, it had that cutting the track sousson.
Yeah, that deep smell that says, I have committed a penalty. And I'm hoping you don't notice.
I thought that was just pad stink.
Yeah, it's pad stink.
Yeah.
It's exactly it. That's why all players smell like it.
Yeah, well, because there ain't no player without a penalty.
And they haven't been to hit this lately enough.
You know, that's true. None of us have.
Yeah. So
up comes Worthy, even starting off as both not lead and in the penalty box, giving that power jam. Now that the power jam is on the other skate, Worthy comes through for another 4 points.
Both jammers out. Puget down their pivot, number 5-5, Corporal Punishment. But scoring position, so 4 more points. 4 more points both sides.
And Corporal Punishment re-entering the track right ahead of Worthy, ready to block.
I didn't hear any late whistles, so I think we are talking a full set of skaters for this next jam.
You know, the penalty box is empty. Those penalty trackers or the penalty box timers are lonely right now with only themselves for company.
I gotta talk with this person all weekend. Good thing they're a good person.
Where are my skater friends? And mentioned Rydell earlier.
Yeah.
I want to say experience world-class edging with the Radar Halo.
World-class.
World-class edging. Frankie says relax. Available in a full range of hardness from 84A all the way up to 103A. There is a Halo for everyone.
So these ones, they go over 100.
They go over 100.
They go over 100. See, still, worst British accent ever.
And there's a Halo for everyone. Even you, Biggie Talls, you too could be angelic with your own Halo.
Have you been talking to somebody? I got nothing on that.
I got, if you want to go, I know a guy.
So there's been a star pass here. So Golden State Heat has the lead. That's Beaton Malark has the lead and doesn't because back block.
Well, they had it until you said that.
It was like Schrodinger's lead.
Yeah, it's the announcer's curse. I'm going to say something and the gods want me to say a lie. so they make it a lie.
You are wrong.
And so it was.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
And so therefore, we have no lead jammer. Kieran has the star for Puget Sound.
So, opportunity to get points, which is really good.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that Kieran is not a starting jammer for them, is just the, okay, I can jam, and I'm going to heck a pivot for this game.
And heck a cut, apparently.
Well, two jammers enter the penalty box.
Two have left.
One kind of after the other. It was a very much, I sat down, stand up, go.
Is that a reference to something? I got nothing on that.
On which?
The two jammers enter.
Two jammers enter, one jammer leaves.
Yeah.
It's just a big fight thing of...
Is it like a Thunderdome
It's a
thing?
Thunderdome thing.
Is it a Thunderdome 2 thing?
It is a Thunderdome thing.
I thought we were beyond Thunderdome.
Well, I didn't need another hero.
Okay.
But I do need to know the way home. All I want is what's beyond Thunderdome.
Yes, but I thought we were beyond Thunderdome.
I haven't gotten over it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think it was because I pretended Biodome was part of that series.
If Bubble Boy went into Thunderdome...
And came out of Biodome...
How many trains would leave the station in New York?
And would Encino Man be on any of them?
Yes. All right, kids, do the math at home, and I would like you to Twitter in your answers, #BigO2019.
Yeah, there you go. How many Encino Mans come out of the Beyond Thunderdome?
We'll be giving you the answer after the final game on Sunday. Sunday. At this Big O 2019.
All right, but there's Derby happening in front of us. We should talk about that. I mean,
It's
people
so
can see
good.
it on their screen, so they've got that. They can see that Beat 'em Malark is jamming, and the one and only, or Toto, is jamming.
And
I don't believe
Vic,
we've seen Toto jam so far this
We
game.
haven't. No, that's a new jammer. I was a little worried for 1172 Vic from the Heat, and really good sportsmanship because the guy who knocked him down was also down. Checked in to basically say, hey, dude, you actually good. And they had a nice moment on the track. And there's a star pass and a loss of a pivot helmet cover. So now we have Golden State Plummer. They have never passed the star in this game.
Come to think of it, they never have
No,
they?
it's all been Kieran for Puget Sound.
There's been a few star passes for Puget Sound, but none that I recall anyway for Golden State.
And again, great track awareness from Golden State.
I
Chucked
think
the helmet cover out.
But unfortunately,
Is that
has a lot
illegal?
of velocity and gets a back block.
Oops.
Yeah.
When he got that, I didn't see the gesture, and I'm like, it's not illegal to clear the track of your old unused helmet cover.
Yeah, but it is illegal to push somebody down from behind.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
We don't like it. We haven't liked that since kindergarten.
I have to give a huge amount of credit to both of these teams. I know that MRDA Derby has a lot of reputation for less than exceptional sporting conduct. And you can tell that there's been a lot of emotional investment in how this game is going and a lot of energy going onto the track. But the sporting conduct has been fantastic. Every player that we see out there is just, they're in it and they're doing it. And they're like, they might be upset about something, but they let it go, they move on, and they play Derby.
Yeah, and I've honestly seen that across the board at MRDA. A few years ago, there was a lot of aggression amongst the teams and even within the teams sometimes that made it, I don't know, less fun to watch. I don't like seeing people get into fights and things. I'd go watch hockey if I wanted to see that. And what I'm enjoying is that since then, most, if not all, of the teams I've seen in the MRDA have done that emotional investment, have really looked inwards to say, you know what I want to do is play a great game, not complain when it's pointed out that I'm not playing a great game.
And it fundamentally supports this concept. I've brought this concept up before as a tournament head ref. Derby should be for everybody.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you have to understand that if Derby is going to be for everybody, the ultimate, like, you need to know the parameters of the violence. Because
Yeah.
there is violence. I mean, you're shoving each other around on the track.
You're literally hitting people.
But it needs to fall inside of the rules and
Yeah.
be something that everybody can know, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm consenting to. This is how this game's going to be played. And the end result is that makes it so that more people can play and we can get more of this awesome derby to see.
Yeah. And I'm loving seeing all of this. And like I say, these moments, these small moments of sportsmanship and kindness that we're seeing on the track, both among players who are on the same team, but more importantly, among the players who are fighting each other for this score, for this game, for this sword of justice.
The sword, the
Yes,
S word.
For the sword. I'm loving seeing that people care. That these men on the track and
everyone on the track,
everyone
really.
on the track, yeah, because even though it's MRDA, it is an everyone league.
I think the M in MRDA stands for most everyone,
I like
which is
that.
to say if you're terrible, don't come. But otherwise, most everyone roller derby.
Yeah, and we're seeing no terribles. We're seing that was
That were just leaping off of the right L jammer line and just going.
You know,
have we seen bumper car jam yet?
No.
And now we're
boy, are
wondering
we.
why.
And what I'm loving about this, because everyone talks about, the apex jump, which is always amazing to watch. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, sure.
But that was a straightaway jump.
And
he leapt outside the straightaway and landed inside the straightaway.
It's just like you imagine standing there and calculating, hear the whistle, going. It's
like playing billiards, but you were the ball.
Yeah.
And that was tremendous. I love, bumper car. New favorite single time jammer.
There you go.
Yeah.
And derby, you are the ball. Everybody this time lining up at the right L jammer line. Worthy versus Rogar. Very familiar combination for this game. Worthy making it out there, picking up lead. Golden State Vic number 1172 rejoining the pack here. So both teams, I'm saying both teams are at full strength, but I was wrong because number 747 still sitting down there for Golden State. That's Billy Motion. I'm trying to report these because you can't see them. They're off the screen to your right.
And we've got a little over 10 minutes left in this game. You know what? We've been doing a lot of hashtagging commentary. We've mentioned the Twitter.
The Twitters.
I don't think we've mentioned the Facebooks.
The Faces books.
The Faces books. But we want to say.
We are down with the youth.
You know what? If I'm down with anything.
The youth.
I'm down with the youth. And the social media team is working all weekend to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. So supplement this awesome live stream. So supplement it. Tweet us. Facebooks us. Don't go to the penalty box like Hollywood just did.
For a cutting the track.
You know, that is the easiest and most prolific penalty you're going to see because, come on, it's not against anyone but yourself.
Yep. So we're at Jam 14, 216 to 55. Golden State has lead. We have bumper car out there again, so not a one-time jammer.
All right, not anymore.
Golden State having pulled the plane up a bit. They're definitely scoring more points per jam now. Not a ton more. They're still between the high and low marks they've been, but definitely bringing momentum in their favor for the game. Puget doing a good job of keeping them from bringing it way up. Like, they're still fighting for the points. You can still see them fighting for the points. That right there, you just had a wall, Vito and Old Derby Bastard, and here's Johnny and Fluffy all out there working back and forth, holding down the Golden State jammer.
And now here's Johnny, no longer pivot, now jammer of record for Puget Sound.
Yes.
And that was really great. Again, showing that versatility that you have to have as a pivot. Here's Johnny gave the last swipe at the Heat's jammer.
Wall, last shot.
Last shot, and then grab the star. I'm doing something else now.
Yep. And speaking of that sporting conduct, I just saw that jam ended. Hollywood number 247 on Puget, having a conversation with an outside pack referee. Very respectful. Very just... I thought I saw this thing, and I think there should have been a penalty for it. not yelling, not absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, never go full John McEnroe.
No.
No one likes it when you go full John McEnroe.
Save it for when you need it.
Yeah.
And that should be maybe twice a career.
Yeah. And hopefully your career is long and storied.
Exactly.
And that was a 4-point jam for the Heat.
4 points of heat from Benjamin. So Benjamin indeed jamming.
Yeah, he Benjamin.
Exactly.
He was blocking a lot, and I guess they've just decided that this is more where he needs to be right now.
So once again, everybody lining up at the Rydell Jammer line. No love for the no sponsor pivot line.
Oh. Maybe one day we'll get a sponsored pivot line.
Oh, maybe if people hang out there.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting in the way people do their strategy of where they end up adjacent to the pivot line, adjacent to the jammer line, somewhere in the middle. I mean, right now, a lot, not allowing your jammers to pick up that momentum by the time they get to the pivot line, that's useful. But sometimes, I don't know. I'm very interested to see what these rules changes do to people's strategy.
I mean, every time the rules change, people touch their strategy. They touch their strategy.
They have to.
Yeah, ultimately, you can't play. Imagine if you tried to play the game that was 5 years ago.
Would I still be kneeling on the jam
Yeah,
line?
I don't even know.
That'd be
5 years ago? I think that would have been 6 years ago, but same idea.
Yeah. But all of that of, all right, we're trying to get around and do our best game within the constriction of these rules.
Yeah.
Great hit by Mamba, by the by.
Yes, absolutely. Waterboy being forced out of bounds there. And cutting. Trying to do this very clever. Get in, get behind, but you can't get in, get behind. You have to get behind and then get in.
Yep.
So no lead jammer yet. Mamba re-engaging the pack up there, close to turn one.
And that might be an injury. I'm not sure what's happening.
It looked like it. Yep, that was an injury. Not 100% sure who was injured or what's going on here. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of players between me and the action for that.
So for the folks at home, totally not for me not knowing the new hand signals. 2 fingers together like ET phone home.
That's not a hand signal.
Oh, okay.
That's ASL for hurt.
Oh, fantastic.
So
I love that.
A lot of NSOs have adopted that, and skating officials said that they can very quickly communicate that someone was hurt, and that's why we called it off.
That is information I did not know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think that first showed up Cruise here, actually, 5 or 6 years ago. Something like that. Big O, innovating roller derby, hashtag Big O 2019.
And also, frankly, everyone start learning the sign language of your country, because then you'll be able to communicate with way more people. I know only a few signs. I'm working on it. One of my friends is going deaf, and therefore ASL is becoming a very useful part of our ongoing friendship. But also, I just went to Target, and there was a deaf assistant there. And when I was asking for, picnic gear, I was able to fingerspell some stuff, get over to where I needed to be, and thank her for it. And that just feels nice. Communication feels nice.
Including everybody. Boy,
Yeah.
we have a theme here.
I know.
How did that happen?
Oh, it must be the beauty of Derby.
Yeah, bringing themes together.
It's magical here.
So Puget Sound just finished using their last team timeout. There's 5 minutes on the clock, so not a super vulnerable spot to be in, being out of timeouts.
Nah.
Take a good opportunity to take the break. They've got 2 standing in the box, 247 Hollywood and 907 Guilty McKilty. And it looks like there's 1, 2 in the box for Golden State as well. So,
And Puget Sound still does have their official review. If they need a break, if they want to take it as a timeout, they may.
their spare official review
Yes.
from winning one. 907 Guilty McKilty using corporal punishment kind of like a puck, just forcing him into the Golden State wall there. And it worked. I mean, it got him up into the thing. Unfortunately, then Golden State rearranged and did a great job of holding him down. They've got this 2-person wall going there between 7-1 for Plummer and, what is that, number 1, Hoppa. both just swapping back and forth, keeping Corporal down and keeping Corporal in until Corporal finally gets out, gets the 4 points, comes back around to do it all again.
And one more time, Plummer just
that
getting that final hit.
That was beautiful, though, because swinging the hips around, picking up all 4 points just as he went out of bounds and just saying, I'm going to call this off. It's a
Perfect
power
timing.
start for the next jam. I've got my points. Let's do this.
Yeah. So we've got the Heat's Jammer and the Puget Sound pivot, Kieran.
Actually chatting in the box.
Yeah.
Can see them talking with each other for a moment.
It's like, hey, man, fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, I've been here. I was here earlier. It's nice to run into you again.
Well, I got to say, especially for MRDA, the totality of leagues that you have are so small in number that it's nice to be able to be friendly with people and say, oh, I've seen you. I like you. Let's go play a good game.
Yeah. The Derby world is small.
Oh, yeah.
And friendly.
And that was a great job there by Puget Sound's Rogar, shoving those final 2 blockers, just plowing them forward.
Yeah.
That was a solar plexus hit there into Rogar.
Yeah, from Bumper Car, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
Bumper Car once again bumping.
How did he get that name, Bumper Car?
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with all the Bumper Car bumping. It was either that or Sledgehammer at that point for a name, I think. Are you tracking?
I am so mad at you right now.
All right. Unfortunately, I can't remember enough other lyrics to that song to continue references, so that is where
honestly, where my mind is going is instead of the song, the video with those dancing rotisserie chickens.
Yeah.
And that's all I can think of right now, and I'm so mad at you right now.
Oh.
And I have a joke about Peter Gabriel, but it's associated with my real name, which I'm not going to tell anyone.
That's totally fair. And if it's a Peter Gabriel joke, you'll hear the punchline slightly before the joke anyway.
Womp womp.
And that was a sound engineering joke.
Yeah. But he's famous for it.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah. And lead jam, once again, Corporal Punishment.
Corporal Punishment has not been a prolific jammer for Puget, but definitely a productive one. You can see he's staying in it, he's doing the work. And that's ultimately how you jam and how you put points on the board.
And Worthy was able to re-enter the track, be on the scoring pass. Corporal Punishment deciding, like a glorious albatross, whether or not to call off the jam.
Glory Albatross is a weird derby name.
Yeah. Okay, so all of you out there, if you're looking for a derby name for yourself and you're going to play derby.
Glorious Albatross.
Actually, the one that I want.
Yes.
In my heart of hearts,
Mm-hmm.
I want someone to be literally everyone. So that as an announcer, I can say that literally everyone has re-entered the track.
Literally everyone is going to the box.
Yes, please.
Literally everyone has fouled out.
Make my dream come true.
And if they're twins and they joined, one of them also could be nearly anyone.
You see, exactly.
Or nearly anyone. I'd be okay with that. Nearly anyone.
I'll also take what's your name or what's his name or what's their name.
Yeah.
Any of those I will take.
Who's their face?
What's their face?
I think there's been a what's their face.
I hope so, because that makes me happy.
We could just go on Two Evils and... oh, no.
Oh,
sad face.
Oh, my heart. If I had a heart, the empty space where my heart would be.
Sad face and tarot bang.
Yeah. That means very sad face with a lot of expression. Well, an interrobang, just,
Right, but does it? Oh, okay. I'm going to look at the sheet and see if we've done all the things.
Have we done the things?
No, we have one we haven't done, and we're in a timeout, and there's 56 seconds left, so we get this last...
What is it?
KLCC. Check out KLCC 89.7 NPR for Oregonians. I'm assuming that's if you're near here in Eugene.
Yes.
You're
because
it's
check for Oregonians.
And they're going to be here later. I saw some bit around here somewhere. It was in the video feed or something that they're going to be here talking to people. So I guess if you're a local NPR listener here in Eugene, maybe you haven't made it to the Big O yet because, again, you're still at work. It's Friday. You could later listen about some of this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm a big NPR fan, so I'm very happy to have them in the Big O fold. So KLCC, thanks for supporting us, and all of you out there who are able to get to 89.7. Check it out.
Oh, you could probably find them on TuneIn.
Oh, I bet you could.
Or the NPR app.
Yeah, go to the NPR app.
Yeah,
Check
you
out
could go listen to KLCC about the thing.
Yeah, you could find out all things Eugene, Oregon. And we're gathering once again.
Dear Derby friends, we are gathered here once again to get through this jam called Last. I don't know that it'll be the last jam, but it was the only way I could make the phrase work.
And from the Rydell Jam line, I'm not talking to you again. We have Ben Jammin coming through again as the lead against Mamba, who has just gotten out of the pack into the scoring pass.
And now all I can hear in my head is da-da-da-da-da-da, because he just got out. And it's just like, it needs bold music. And the jam ends with 33 seconds on the clock, 34 seconds on the clock. So it looks like we will have one more. So that was actually the penultimate jam. And now we are ready for the ultimate jam.
I'm always ready for the ultimate jam.
I'm ready for the first, the ultimate, and everyone in between.
Well, it's a good thing because we've experienced all but the last.
Yeah.
And we're about to experience the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, take a deep breath. Figure out what you need to do for yourself in this moment and watch this jam.
They've started at the Rydell Jammer line. That's Ben Jammin up against Mamba, too. Very formidable jammers.
And absolutely a repeat of the last jam that we just saw.
Yep. Both teams at full strength, the penalty box empty, and the jam ending.
Well, and that was honestly smart in terms of Ben Jammin saying, we've got all the points. Mamba is close to getting out. Why not just call it off now and say, we've got the game? And they did. They got the game.
Sometimes good things end with a whimper. And I'll leave everyone to fill that in however they want.
Wow.
Consensually.
Wow, I'm filling in a lot of holes right now. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us here.
Absolutely.
At this first game of the second track of the Big O 2019.
Ultimately ended 238 to 69. Thank you for joining us again. You think you said all the things Friday, 10:30.
Friday,
track 2.
2019.
Puget Sound Outcasts, Golden State Heat.
And all of you have a beautiful day. We're having a beautiful day.
We are.
So I have been Mamie Theisenhower.
And I have been Biggie Talls.
Have a lovely.
Have a lovely.